Hello, the game has started. It's my opponent to go first. I've got a non-bingo rack, but I've got the U to go with the Q. So I may be able to play my way through this. I have quat on my rack. Will that play? And quat also makes quate should opponent play an E. And I would have quittle through an I. Okay, no I, but I do have an E for quate, which isn't so great. I can't get my Q doubled. Do I have anything else through the E other than quate or quayle? And quate sets up an E front hook, which isn't great. Does quat play anywhere? Well, it does, and I think this is a better spot. I get value from the K, and it's the same tiles. And I could consider hanging on to Q and U because they have positive synergy, but there are no great J spots. So I am going with this. Keen takes an O and an S at the end. Well, a few more vowels now. So I'll be looking to play off the J and leave a bingo-y rack leave. Car takes an A in front. Jeet is good, leaving ale. No I for chi. And Jeet would play across 3 of the tiles of keen. Jeel also good with double E, but that would leave 2 A's on my rack. Quat only takes an S in front. 2 E's make equate, but I think playing off the J is the best option for me at the moment. So do I have anything in column 10 which gets the J tripled? Well, opponent plays Vine. Vine takes an A in front, which I have. Do I have any 5-letter J A plays? No, I don't. And opponent's play hasn't really set up anything else for me. Jeet's still available, and that looks good. Now, I was considering column 10 for J something N word, so I have Jane, worth doing, because it's a better rack leave than Jeet. 27 points, which is about the same as Jeet scored. So anything even better than Jane? No, I don't think so. Great. Surely I am bingoing now. I have Crestal and Scarlet in column 3 and Tarcells in column 11. So, well, and other options, Scarlet in row K. Let me first satisfy myself regarding all of the 7-letter bingos on my rack. So Crestal, Scarlet and Tarcells I've mentioned. Are there any others? Clarets. Wow, I think Clarets plays down here. Yes, it does, for 89 points, and I don't think I am going to score anything better than that elsewhere. Well, not a great pick, but 7 random tiles often isn't. I have a lead of about a bingo. Now, I no longer have an A or an O for going in front of Vine. Since this rack is so unbalanced, I'll be looking to turn over as many tiles as I can, especially given the presence of 3 high-scoring tiles, where that may be easier said than done. So I can play Frib in column 11. That isn't terrible, but the score's pretty lame. Can't see anything through the C, although I do have the H, so what about column 13? Well, yes, I have Thig. No T. So I have HI. Nothing goes well in front of HI, but what about things which go after it? Well, no, I don't think I do have a decent column 13 play. I think GHI is the best I can see, but that keeps B and F, and I'd like to split them up. So I have Frib and Frig in column 11, but that's all I've seen. And that barely scrapes above 20 points. K takes an S. But in order to burn the S, I think I'd need to be scoring about 30 points, and I'm not seeing anywhere for that. V takes nothing after it, so parallel plays in row K have to begin under Chi. Okay, well, opponent provides a vowel, which may be useful. I don't think there's a bingo here, but I do have the fish prefix, or suffix rather. There's an N for ing, but I'd really need another vowel to take advantage of that. So what do I have through this A? So frab. Well, 17 points, but I am retaining an I, as in I'm retaining a vowel, which frib burnt. And I'm blocking all of the bingo lanes, pretty much, that opponents created, or either blocking them or obstructing them. So I quite like frab. Is there anything better? It would be nice if it could extend onto this triple letter square. However, were it to do so, it may create a 7-letter lane, so I'm going with frab. Well, balanced in terms of vowels and consonants, but I'm not seeing a bingo, and I retain this solitary bingo's lead. What about the C? This is close to something. Well, I'm not seeing anything. LA, not seeing anything. If there were an N, is a shaming good? Possibly. Now, I've retained the H for CH, so do I have anything in column 13? Well, I do have GHI, but that's retaining double A, so I may be able to do better than that. And also, any such column 13 plays aren't great because CH takes a bunch of vowels after it, which is an easy scoring spot for opponent. Now, opponents played Vend. Vend no longer takes a U hook at the end. And opponent has provided an N, but in the wrong spot for a shaming. Could there be an anagram? No. What about the D? Not seeing anything. I still have no N for chin. Do I have any good ESI words? No, I don't. So I could play Ma. That would be creating a lane in column 2 because ME takes an A in front. Let me consider the score and then look elsewhere. That's 22. It would be so much nicer to be scoring up in the 30s. That's 25, but keeping duplicate A. What about a play down from this C? No. Jane takes an S, but I don't think I can score enough to justify playing there. I don't really like the G, and this isn't an ING friendly board. Do I have a 6-letter play ending in A? No. And is there nothing? Ah, well, I have ham for 32. And is it worth burning the S? No, only 5 points, and I'm upsetting the vowel consonant balance. But this looks a lot better than anything I've considered so far. I am going with this. And if opponent does play in column 14 for a big score, he's not bingoing. So I have not drawn well. I've drawn the V and the Y, and it seems a while since I've seen an E on my rack. Through an E, I would have voyage. Still no N for chin. That's a big spot. Only 2 N's to come. I have Vichy in row B, which would be fantastic, getting rid of the V and the Y. but I am expecting opponent to play there, unless he's got a bingo. And Maximus does play hen for 36, which is great because it means Vichy is left alone for 48. Well, bingo-y tiles compared to my previous racks, but I don't have a 7. And I don't think the floaters assist. G and U not great together. And opponent opening lanes, hen takes an S and a T in front, and a W. Niggle takes DR and S. And opponent's provided a few more floaters, but I don't think any of them are good for me. I don't have an R, otherwise I could play nigglers. So how to sort this rack out? If I could play off G, O and U, what's left would be pretty good. I do have a U for Vondu, but 2 S's, 2 blanks to come. And that would be an argument for turning over tiles. Can I do that? So 13 minutes on my clock, only 3 on opponents. He was away for quite a while, or thinking for quite a while. The end spot for Chin has gone. I really do want to get rid of G and U. So what about Cogs? 26 points, which isn't fantastic. I am burning G and U. I'm interrupting the niggle lane, which I think is, well, it's the only 7-letter lane ending in S in which the play can get doubled, and there is still a lane in column 2. It's not essential to block row N, even though that play would be doubled. It would provide access to row O. So I think the main advantage of Cogs is that it's sorting out G and U. Without providing anything massive, the Z could go in front of the E. Is there any better spot for just G and U? No, I don't think so. I'm going with this. Wow, so much for drawing the S's and blanks. This is awful. And my lead, just 120 points. I've drawn another U for Vondu. So I could play Wall, and that might be worth considering. Cogs wasn't fantastic because it created an 8-letter lane for bingos ending in S. Now, opponents scored 28, which isn't massive, but is still pretty good. Do I have a play through that F, a variant spelling of Affald, of which there are many, some of which use the W? I think that's good for 27, but awful rack leave. Awful does play, but doesn't get tripled. The F isn't super dangerous, so I'm really looking to see if I can use it to sort my rack out. Well, what about playing Wall? The F is disrupting bingos in row O, and this certainly sorts my rack out. Scores over 20 points. Does leave a vowel-heavy rack with 5 eyes to come, so I am inviting trouble. Well, what about playing it down here, which doesn't assist with the rack leave, but scores slightly more, and takes out the S hook for hen rather. And there's no point in looking to play the D as well. That would just make my rack even more vowel heavy. I'm going with this. Pretty good. I have taddies, but I think I've taken out the 7-letter S lanes, so that doesn't play. Does taddies have an anagram? I don't think it does. Wow, such a bingo-y rack. ET is available. Wall has really taken out development of the bottom left upwards. Now opponent changes. And I lead by 110. 25 tiles left, only 2 minutes on opponent's rack clock. So I could play fade. Do I have anything in column 1? My F can get doubled, but no O for going next to the U. And no good something S plays, and no bingos beginning with the S, unless I'm overlooking something. Can I reach the F from the triple word square? I don't think so. 9 minutes on my clock, 25 tiles to come. What about a play in column 11? TES is good. So I have date for 18. Not great. Surely I can do better than that. Niggled is good. This rack is so good, I'm reluctant to wreck it. What does add score? 16. Keeping sighted. Only 16. I don't have anything which goes next to the U, so it's pointless looking in column 1. Cade is good. So, what about playing dited here? And this turns over 5 tiles, which is good in terms of drawing the blanks. It's burning the eye, which is good in terms of the 5 eyes that are left. And it's preserving the S. I am going with this. Finally, I do draw one of the blanks. Rest of the rack looks fairly non-bingo-y with all the duplicates. 51 for opponent, which of course add would have blocked. And I do have an O for going next to the U. Yep, limited bingo lanes on the board. Row N ending in R and row O beginning with S. Gosh, I thought I had Soldado for a moment. I don't quite have the tiles for that. I don't think there is a bingo with this rack. Nothing goes between U and D. So 5 minutes on my clock. I've almost caught up with opponents. I think I'm going to take the points. This isn't an S. Well, it is an S-friendly board because of walls and vens. I'm going with Oda for 10. Well, good grief. I draw the second blank. I have weapons if there were an S lane. That took forever. And if opponent bingos, I could be in a tricky spot on a board with no bingo lanes at all. So, do I have anything beginning with S? What about sapwood? Yes, fantastic. Wow. After all the pain of the Oda rack and the 100% confidence that it was massively suboptimal, I do then draw the tiles for a bingo, which does play. Wow, and surely that has secured the victory. Just 3 tiles left. And what did opponent do? He played Diner for 7, burning a lot of bingo-y tiles. Maybe he was just trying to stop me from bingoing. Well, if that was the case, it hasn't worked. And Well, 47 for opponent. It's not enough. The bag is empty. I don't think I have a bingo with this rack through an E. I would have you B at ease. No E available. Opponent's not going out in 1, so can I go out in 2? 3 minutes on my clock. So I can play nothing at the top except a BI, leaving sweet. Does that play anywhere? Now Joe takes an S, but I have 5 tiles, not 4. So is there anywhere for U, B, and I? I have dub in column 11. And his opponent going to play top right. He doesn't have anything which goes in front of ham, so he would only be playing MI. So what about a play through the D? DU is good. Sorry, Ute is good. So I have dub. But I'm just not going out with these tiles. 2 minutes on my clock. What about keeping the U and turning over a lot of other tiles? Nothing goes between E and O. I'm not seeing anything. I'm going with buy. And I will be able to go out in 2 further moves with this rack. Very constricted board at the moment, which is fine since I have a huge lead. Nothing goes between niggle and Y, so any vowel put in front of the X is going to be a single tile. I would have duties through a D. Does that have an anagram suited? But nothing which fits. Etuis down from the E. Well, opponents block that, only 15 points. I don't think he's going out with IORR. So I have Chewies here for 16. Is that giving opponent an out? It's not. Is it giving him a big score in column 8? It's not. Can I go out with the E in 2 spots? PE, ED, I can. I am going with this. And I also have EX for 18. Opponent may have spotted an out for his tiles, but I didn't. 7 seconds left on opponent's clock. And opponent goes overtime. He incurs a 10-point penalty and will forfeit the game should he use up a full minute of overtime. Well, he doesn't. He plays Ox, which was my best out. I've got 1 minute to find the best E spot. LAE not good. Quate not available. Ed for 3. Evine not good. Edited not available. PE for 4. That's the best I've seen. And the final score, 305 for my opponent, 461 for me, a winning margin of 156 points, so a huge, huge win. Let's see what I missed. Wow, what a game. Opponent away for a long time, and then some very tricky racks to deal with. So it was opponent to go first. He played Keen. Junta. I don't like that. Burning the U, leaving the Q. So I played Quat for 23. Why isn't that on this list? It is. Yeah, I think that's the best play, or equal best. Opponent's rack plays Vine, and a G available as a 4-letter play for 35 and a decent rack lead. What do? I do Jane for 27, using the same. Now, let me look where a G is being played. F9. A G is not hooking Vine. It's playing in column 9, making quate using the same 3 tiles, 1 square to the left. So that would have been better. Opponent plays Lute. And now here we go. I played Clarets, but Cartels also plays in the same spot and doesn't stick the C out in the open. Opponent's rack looking fairly bingo-y, but none available. Plays Scan. And this is where opponent disappeared. And what do I do here? I play Frab for 17. Bergs, G9. Wow, because of Catra, Bat and Catra. Wow, that would have been nice. 36 points. So Frab has some merit, but I don't think it's as good as these higher plays. And I could have retained the S and just played Berg as well. Now, this was the rack which opponent was either struggling with or had to go away to attend to some matter. Plays Vend in the end. K5. Nide was available, running under Vine. My rack, Ahimsa. Wow, in column 15, that's nice, 47 points. And I play Ham for 32, retaining the S, so similar, but I think Ahimsa better. Opponent plays Hen for 36, and now I have Vichy for 48, which I was delighted remained available. So I have a 100-point lead. Opponent plays Niggle. This was a tricky rack. N2, Agued. Well, opening up row O, but scoring 30 points. What do? I play Cogs for 26. Yeah, obstructing the hooks for Niggle. Tricky. Not much between those, only 5 points difference. But Agued does retain the S, but this is not a massively S-friendly board. Except it would have been if I'd played Agued because of the Niggle hook. Okay, Agued probably better. Opponent plays Turf. A13. Because of Wham, WAI available. What do? I play Wall for 24. Yeah. Well, why? I think a better play. Opponent suffering with no vowels. Changes. Now nowhere for Taddies. And Dafty available for 30. That's nice. And I played Dited for 23, which isn't as good. Yeah, and Dafty would have taken out this high-scoring Foxy play. Now, this was a tricky rack which I spent a very long time on. I had a slender lead. H3. Well, yes and no. Odar is available in column 3, but it's setting up bingo lanes and a very high-scoring row H spot with the Z still out there, so I don't like Odar. Axe and Ox. Wow, that's just playing a single tile. Yeah, so many of these rack leaves retain duplicates. So in the end, I took a score sacrifice, but only of about 8 points for most of these plays, and to leave the best rack leave. Opponent's rack plays Diner. And here we go, Sapwood available, as was Snowcap and Sparrow. I think any would have done the job. And I now have a 180-point lead. 3 tiles in the bag. Opponent plays Zoa, emptying the bag. M14. Essa is good, not just Esni. 6 available there. But I don't think any of these plays provide an out in 2, except possibly C9 Ibis, leaving Ute, which may well have played somewhere. But I play Bye. No out for opponent, plays Imp. No out for me, and I play Chewies for 16. Opponent plays Ox, and finally Or for 12, E11. I missed that. And Haim is the same play. So, what a game. Super exciting stuff. And as you can see, it's quite a diagonal board, most of the action taking place to the right-hand side of the main diagonal, which made scoring options or just simply choices very difficult to identify as the game progressed, and both opponent and I were short on time. So super exciting stuff. Many thanks to my opponent for a good game. I hope you enjoyed watching that game, and I will see you next time.